Good to see you. Barely a week after launching a controversial plan to distribute food in Gaza, the organisation behind it is shutting operations for a day. The US and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation announced its distribution centres were closed on Wednesday. In a statement, it cited, quote, the need for an update and efficiency work improvement, and it said Palestinians are banned from entering its food distribution sites. The Israeli army says the roads leading to them are now combat zones. Operations are due to resume on Thursday. That's happening as Israeli forces are intensifying their assault across the Gaza Strip. A medical source at Nasser Hospital says 18 Palestinians have been killed in Khan Younis, most of them children. A school housing displaced families was attacked. Israeli forces have renewed their attacks on Al-Aqsa Hospital in Deir al-Balah using drones. They've targeted the roof of its administrative building for the third time, destroying a vital water tank. Health officials are saying Israeli forces have systematically attacked healthcare facilities in Gaza. The Boston consulting group that helped design the business operations of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation has ended its role with the group. The GHF is a new organisation meant to control the delivery of aid into Gaza after Israel blocked the UN from entering. It's backed by the US and Israel. Armed security contractors guard its trucks. Palestinians are expected to collect aid from its centres in southern Gaza. The UN says it would not engage with a plan that disrespects humanity, neutrality, independence or impartiality. Hani Mahmoud joins us live from Gaza City. Hani, fill us in. What's being said about the closure of these controversial Gaza Humanitarian Foundation centres and the aid that they're meant to be offering to people in Gaza, of course?
Well, Neve, as of this moment, the only take into what's going on is the statement by the GHF that was issued earlier this morning about the closure of the sites here for 24 hours, citing the stated goals, improving security and logistics for the past weeks. And of the past week, only 3 days of actual aid distribution that took place in Tal Sultan on the first day, and then a couple days later near Murad Corridor and then Netzarim Corridor. On these 3 days, people were actually, as they were waiting or approaching the table where the food parcels were available for them, they were shot and killed as they approached the centers. And all 3 sites, we documented cases of deliberate shooting and killing by the Israeli militaries. Over 100 people have been killed so far as they either waited for the aid to be delivered or as they approached the centers in the southern part of the Strip. Now, the decision to suspend operations and citing the stated goal of improving security and logistics does not seem to be quite clear for a lot of people here. The suspension means directly that thousands of people who rely on aid coupons, on food aid to be delivered are going to go hungry for at least the coming 24 hours. Let's not forget, not everyone who showed up at the site, and due to looting, due to the lack of order, lack of safety, the overcrowding at the site, not everyone managed to get a food parcel. In fact, more than half of the people, due to the lack of safety and the lack of order, they made their way back to their temporary shelters and to where they are staying in displacement site without any of the food parcels, let alone many of the documented cases of enforced disappearance. Many people who showed up there, whether children or vulnerable groups or elderly, showed up at the site and they are gone missing, and no news about their whereabouts up till this moment. But both security and logistics, again, do not seem to be quite realistic for a lot of people. We talk about 20 months of ongoing bombardment, intense bombing campaign, destruction of all means of life. So Gaza has not seen any absolute security. And inherently, when we talk about humanitarian aid or food being distributed to people in forms of aid, it happens and it takes risk. It happens in war zone, and it should be adjusted around this scenario, not to suspend it, because suspension is an equivalence to no aid at all for much of the needed population at this moment. In terms of logistics, we've seen lots of local organizations able to provide at this time.
Hani, and on your point about the lack of security, what's the very latest on these strikes that we've been reporting? Because it looks like the casualty number is rising, civilians, including children, among the dead and injured, and this report about the use of drones at the Al-Aqsa hospital.
Yeah, this is quite concerning. We're talking about a health facility is operating in the central area of the Gaza Strip. The only public health facilities now serving thousands and thousands of people in the central area, more than half of the population in that area, in Deir al-Balah particularly, and the surrounding towns are made of displaced population, are relying on Al-Aqsa health facility. And now the repeated attacks, this is not, by the way, the first time that we're seeing this, but it's definitely the first time we're seeing suicidally drones attacking the hospital, and not only attacking any elements of it, but much of the vital resources of the hospital, the water tanks, the solar power system on the rooftop of the hospital, as if indirectly telling everyone that this hospital will be rendered non-operational very soon. Without water, without electricity, the risk now, many of the ICU, without the ongoing stable power supply, they're going to be at risk of losing their lives. Those who are running the dialysis machines or kidney patients are relying on these machines to keep beeping so they can get the proper treatment. A part of these attacks, the Israeli military carried out more attacks on Khan Younis, an overnight attack, killing 18 people in a shelter. That's a school housing displaced families. 18 people, including women and children, were killed. Here in Gaza City, in the southern western part of the city, a father and 2 children. In the northern part of the Strip, where the Israeli military pulled out from areas that it occupied in the past weeks. There is no official statement yet about the withdrawal, and largely perceived as tactical withdrawal, as a lot of people here are in line of fire of the heavy artilleries and the quadcopters in the northern area.
Hani Mahmoud with the very latest there from Gaza City. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.